a certain punishment, and that needs a biur. But anyway, whatever, it appears that this is a very popular term. Olam shnei hasivos hasbedim, I'm sorry, einam maspikim. The Rebbe said, however, these two terms which are given, why Moshe is not mentioned in this whole parsha, are not really, satisfying. Yeah, here's Baharisha Muksha, that it was, we do it because Moshe Rabbeinu passed away on Zion Order. He said, Shekain Yachadim Seh, She Moshe Nifta B'Zion Order, Ugam Noilad B'Yom Seh. Yeah, this is one on. As brought down in the Gemara, in Masechta Megillah, and in Masechta Kedushin, and in Masechta Sota, 3 times in Shas, it's repeated that Moshe was born on the same day as what he passed away. Or put it the other way, he passed away on the same day he was born. Yeah, so Moshe Rabbeinu was born on this day. U'madua utazu ha'chashuva yoter eina muskeret. Why is it that this whole inyan that he was born on Zion Order is not taken into account? But again, to this whole reason why we took Moshe Rabbeinu's name out of the whole parsha, that's a very significant event, and it should have a whole effect and a whole interrelation to the whole situation. And as we go along, we're going to see that in effect, the Gemara does mention over there. So the Gemara does mention over there in these 3 places that Haman, when he threw his his lot to decide what month and what month of the year he was going to make his gezerah, then he was very happy when the girl fell on Adar, because he knew that Adar was the month that Moshe Rabbeinu passed away. So he thought, oh, this is a great opportunity because it's a bad time for that Moshe Rabbeinu passed away. The Gemara says over there, the expression, Avu lo yoda shebayom zeh noilad Moshe. Yeah, and so Rashi brings over there that Godel Yom HaLeido lechaper al Yom HaMisa. The day of the birth can, as it were, correct the whole inyan of the Yom HaMisa. So if we're going to say the whole reason we don't mention Moshe Rabbeinu is because it's close to the day that he passed away, then why don't we take into account that it's also the same day that he was born, and it's a Mafurish Gemara that has a great weight. So why do we make that as a sufficient reason not to mention Moshe Rabbeinu's name? So he said, V'hez ba'asheni muksha, and the second one given by the Balaturim in the name of the Zoya, that is also got a kasha on it, Shari Pashas Tzetzava Kesuva B'Torah Lifnei Chet Ha'egel. Yeah, it all happened before. And as a matter of fact, all the tzivuim, according to the Zohar Kodesh, all the tzivuim about the Mishkan and everything were all given to Moshe Rabbeinu before the Chet Ha'egel occurred. So he said, Lifnei Chet Ha'egel, well, a kamadeyas, kam nemra lifnei. Not only just that they're written in different order, first of all Tzav and then afterwards but in effect they actually were said to Moshe Rabbeinu in this order. That Tzav was a long time before. Tzav, imkein madua davke bon nirmazo machiyas Hashem, is why davke in Parsha Tzav should there be mentioned this closing out or wiping out of Moshe Rabbeinu's name, Macheni no misifrecha. It's 2 different stages of developments of events, and when he said Macheni no, it was a long time after all the inyonim that occur in Parshat Tzav were already mentioned and dealt with. Ubeklau tzarich lahavin ma'u hakesher bein shnei hapirushim. The Rebbe says a cloud that if 2 things are given as a reason for a certain theme or a certain inyan in Torah, then l'chorah, since they're 2 tamim about the same inyan, l'chorah they should have some sort of connection between them. There must be some way that they balance out one the other, or that they in some way modify what the other one doesn't say. We need to understand what that is. ובתי להובין זויס, עלינו להקדים את העובדה שבזכות לידת מוישה, לידת מוישה, הפך כל חודש אדר לששון ולשמחה. כמו שכתוב במגילה, that not only just the day of Purim has been reversed from suffering into joy, but the whole month of Adar is Nerpach. The whole month of Adar is very, very auguries, and it's a great time due to the fact that Moshe Rabbeinu was born. I'll soon say how we learn about that. However, Adar is a very amazing month in that it's not just Purim that something great happened is remembered. The whole month is reversed from Yogin L'Simcha. And therefore there's all sorts of halachas that you can actually read the Megillah b'de'evad almost any day in Chodesh Adar, and you may not be Yoter Melchatchila, from the very beginning. That's maybe not the best way to do it. But if you did it post facto and you relied on that, then it could be you're considered as having been Mekayim the mitzvah of Kriyas HaMegillah. Because the whole month becomes a different month altogether due to what and there's a medrash, a famous medrash that the Rebbe brings down in Esther Rabbah, where Haman examined all the months of the Jewish year, and he looked to see what happened in all those months. He saw that in Nisan was Pesach, in Iyar was Pesach Sheni, that's what the Gemara says, the Medrash says, and in Sivan was Matan Torah, and then here, in every month he found there was some Inyan which gave the month a Mazel Dikaton for the Yidden, even in Tammuz and all. He found something good which made it worthy for him not to try his vicious tricks in that month. Every month had something good. When he came to Adar, he couldn't find anything special about Adar, and even more than that, all sorts of other factors he examined without going into all the details. And when it came to Adar, he felt that was the ideal month. And then he threw a girdle and it came out, a b'diuk on. So then he was tremendously thrilled because he made all this research and he found out that Adar was the best time for him to take action, and that's exactly how it came out through the girdle. So he was tremendously thrilled with himself. And so, especially in addition to that, it so happens that in Adar Moshe Rabbeinu passed away. So that's like in addition to all this other research that he's made. And about that, the Gemara says, Avahu lo yoda, he didn't know that in that month Moshe Rabbeinu was born. And so Rashi brings over there, in the Masechta Kedushin, Rashi brings a very interesting statement. Rashi says that Chodesh Adar v'Chodesh Nisan, Chodshei Nisim heim l'Yisrael. That both Adar and Nisan are Chodshei Nisim l'Yisrael. So it's much more that the whole month of Adar is a time of Nisim, and the whole month of Nisan is a time of Nisan. So I asked the question, what made Adar into a whole month of Nisim? It's only Purim, and Purim is only 2 days. So therefore, when the Gemara says that he didn't know that Moshe Rabbeinu was born, it's much more that what's the key and the pitch line? What's the secret behind all this change? Rashi talks about the whole month of Chodesh Adar and Nisan. It's all much more inside the birth of Moshe Rabbeinu. So it comes out that Moshe Rabbeinu was and his birth are a key issue in altering everything into Toiv and Nisim. So therefore, he says, has been changed into Sosan L'Simcha, כמה שכוסף מגילה החוידש, אשר נהפך מיוגן לשמחה, ולאחר הקושר, מהו השמחה הגדולה מלידת מוישה? What is there so to be happy about that Moshe Rabbeinu was born? Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakenu b'dvarei.
Amen.
What is such a tremendous happy event that Moshe Rabbeinu was born. So, Medrash and also the Gemara, it's written a very, in the Gemara, it's written with a slightly different phrase, but it's basically the same thing. Omer shehaleida mechaperes ala misa, that the birth, like as it were, atones for the negative aspect of the misa. So whatever that may mean, but it seems to link the birth and the death together in such a way that one affects the other, but not that it affects all the other inyanim in the whole month. So therefore he said, Kalima shemaduva poi b'tikun bilvad. Mechaper means like a tikun, how do you call it, putting right of something. Miliach soram shanaitza ketzaitza mipitirosa shal Moshe v'sulei. Yeah, the Gemara says, mechaper, it's much more that the birth just filled up the gap that was made by the how do you call it, the passing. Even though one is before the other, but what he means is that the simcha created by the fact that Moshe came into the world is enough to take away the tzar that he left the world. V'haraya shamedrash maybe b'em shelakach is divrei Haman al chodesh order shu ein lo yischuz. Yeah, umazolei ein lo yischuz. Not only that it has no schuz, like we pointed out at length, he said gamrit's mazel, which is the mazel of Dagim. He didn't find any special schuz about fish. Yeah, the ein al kach, yeah, machlekes, and nobody disagrees with that. From that it's mashma that ein nachanami, the chodesh itself doesn't have real schuz. Yeah, only the good thing that happened was Leidas, yeah, Moshe. And mashma that Leidas Moshe fixed up all these inyonim and took away his silver that he found a chodesh that didn't have any schuz. So how come that the birth, bilvad, was there to affect everything? It should have only affected its own Indian to hide the lacking of Moshe Rabbeinu. He's passing. And to fix that up. But how did it fix up all the other things that the Chodesh didn't have any schuz? Avamela said, the Rebbe, Im kein godla hatamiyah, ma yasimcha al leidas Moshe. And if he said, we hear that the birth of Moshe Rabbeinu is becoming a tremendously central factor in the whole Chodesh order, in the whole Ness of Purim, and in everything that surrounds that. And further, according to Rashi over there in Kiddushin, it's even affecting Pesach. It's moving into Nisan and causing Nisim also to happen over there. So ask yourself the question, what is so significant? I mean, it's a great day that Moshe Rabbeinu was born. But what, Ad Kedei Kach, that it should be able to affect in such a general way and bring a general simcha into the whole of Chodesh Order and bring nisim of the sort of Purim and eventually Yetzias Mitzrayim. Ha'ezbalachach, says the Rebbe, the explanation of that notes b'mashma'ut shel yom ha'yiledes b'klal u'shel Moshe b'frat. So the Rebbe said the explanation to these questions comes through us understanding and paying attention deeper to what does it mean b'klal that somebody's born, particularly a yid is born into the world. What does that imply? So he said, Yom HaLidas, it's a Yerushalmi. It's brought down in the Yerushalmi in Masechta Rosh Hashanah, where the Yerushalmi says that on a day that a person is born, then his mozolei is chazach, or mitchazekes harbe, mashu chazek. The Lashon Goiver is the Rebbe's Lashon. That's not written, but the Rebbe explains in the Sikha why does he use the word gover? Because gover means like taking on a victorious state. So he said, if we examine what happened with Haman and with Mordechai and the whole Indian in Chodesh Order, that wasn't just a good and a positive thing, but it was Indian of overcoming the other side completely. So therefore the Rebbe said that we'll see as we go along, it's worthy to use the word goiva, because goiva means it takes like a victorious stance rather than just to become strong. Kalima. What does that mean to say? That on your birthday, your muzzle is very strong. So the Rebbe says, in simple terms, that means that on your birthday you can have a lot of hatzlocha. He said, "Mekan shebiyom ha'iladatei shel Moshe Rabbeinu hanosi shel kol bnei Yisrael b'chol ha'torah, mishgah b'mazolam shel kol bnei Yisrael." Oh, so the Rebbe brings down the famous Maimar Chazal in Pashas Chukas, what Rashi brings it down, that hanosi hu hakoyel. Hakoyel hu hanosi, v'anosi hu hakoyel. The nosi, meaning the leader in spirituality, a genuine leader of the whole generation, he's everything. Meaning he's everybody and everybody's him. So if we're saying that on Zion Order, Moshe Rabbeinu's muzzle is, gover, in a way that it's taking over a victorious stance, then that means that all Yidden, it's happening by all Yidden. Since all Yidden are kalul within Moshe Rabbeinu, they're, as it were, contained within him, and he's like their generality, then that means that all Yidden, their muzzle is being gover on that day. Which means that if Moshe Rabbeinu is born, that means alteration, Lamad Yusuf, with a tremendous advantage in all Yidden, in the whole Klal Yisrael. Which means that we're no longer talking about Moshe Rabbeinu personal birth, we're talking about as it were, it's the birthday and the Aliyah Samazal and the Yishchazkas Samazal of all the Jewish people on Zion Order. So Zion Order is becoming quite a day. So he said, Mizgaba Mazolam shel kol b'nei Yisrael. So he says, Su hinach chazocha kol kach ad shehi mashpia al kol ha'chodesh kulo. Oh, so now if you got a online horror, I don't know how many millions of Yidden there are, but online horror, they're all Mazalim is goiver. So we can imagine, we can understand now why the whole Chodesh Order became a completely different Chodesh. That he, the Rosha, Yamach Shemoy, he thought didn't have any schools, and he thought it did this and did that. Then all of a sudden it all blew up in his face. Yeah, so how come it all blew up in his face? Because all the Jewish people, their muzzle was goiver in a way that had an effect on the whole 30 days of the month, and eventually also on Nisan itself. So he said, Mashpia kol ha'chodesh order hofek liyesh chodesh shel sosa v'simcha, because of Moshe Rabbeinu's birth. Yeah, now you can understand that I was put down a yom that on Zion Order, our Rabbein didn't used to say Tachanan. Now you only say Tachanan you only don't say Tachanan on a day of Simcha. Is everybody with me? I sort of get the feeling that everybody's sort of a bit droopy tonight. Am I right or am I wrong? Everybody's a bit droopy.
We say Tachanan on Zion.
That's the sort of impression I'm getting.
We're saying Tachanan on Zion.
Anyway, the Rebbe says that, as it were, all the Jewish people, in order, the whole Klal Yisrael, they have the ability to just completely reverse the whole situation of what was a month that basically had nothing. Yeah? Has turned it into and also Rashi hints that it also has an effect on Nisan. Yeah, it's chodesh shel sosa v'simcha v'apirush b'divrei HaMedrash. Yeah, soma choma. Yeah, it's not just the Medrash, it's also the Gemara that Haman said, Oda hi ein lo yishchuz Umazali ein lo schus, and the mazel also doesn't have any schus. Yeah, v'lo yoid, ela she ba'oda meis Moshe Rabbeinu. Yeah, lo yoid. In other words, he was making like an extra in an hallelujah meis Moshe Rabbeinu. V'hu lo yoda she v'shiva ba'oda meis or v'shiva ba'oda noilad. Yeah, so that lashon tends to be like an answer to everything. He said that the whole month is not good from other reasons. Also, Moshe Rabbeinu passed away. The Medrash answers all of that in one go by saying he didn't know that on Zion or that he was Noila. But from that it's mashma that that's enough to answer all the things that were said. He said, "Shemekivan sheMoshe Noila, Moshe Rabbeinu Noila b'Zion Oda, zui haschus hagedola b'Yosef." That's enough koyak to answer all the things that he found and that he was happy about. Yesh v'chodesh Oda u'mazorei. So let it be that it doesn't have a mazel dika mazel, and let it be that it doesn't have any schus. Let it be the very fact that Moshe Rabbeinu was born. That is enough to be an answer to all these problems. It's not just that the Yom HaLeida can be mechaper on the dead and create a simba, which is balancing out the mourning for the passing. Not just for that. He said, the birth of Moshe Rabbeinu, and he's actually coming into the world, well, that implies a schus gedola v'nifloa amashpia al kol hachodesh kula. That is reversing and changing the whole chodesh into another Matthias and into another oven of schus and koyach and victory for the Jewish people. From that we see that the Indian of Yom HaLeida is not just a parallel type of thing in the opposite direction to the passing. That's an Indian for mourning and that's an Indian for tzivah. One balances the other. Now the birth of Moshe Rabbeinu is a huge power, an unlimited power which affects the whole month, and even Chodesh Nisan, according to Rashi, and Oid in Yom HaOid. We've swung everything around, that we've got now Moshe Rabbeinu being born, just turning Hanan Hara, I don't know how many millions of Yidden there are, 14 million or 20 million of Chayzakain Yirvo of Yidden, walking around, all of them with Schusay, Gova, Matzole, Gova, V'yomahu, and all because Moshe Rabbeinu was born. Anybody would have to be a Meshuganam to chefer with such a koyach, and that's exactly what happened. He was an absolute Meshuganam, and he thought that he's got on a good wicket they call it in the old Australian English. He's got on a good ball game here, and the truth of the matter is that it all blew up immensely in his fate. So the Rebbe said, "V'schus zu mudgeses b'miyuchad kasher yeshnam shnei chodshei odar v'shana mu'beret." So the Rebbe said, this Indian, Moshe Rabbeinu's birth is the central issue, and it affects and elevates all Yidden into another madrega altogether. He said that's even more when it's two Adar, when they're like in this year. And the Gemara says in Masechta Seita over there, and in Masechta Kiddushin, the Gemara says that the year that Moshe Rabbeinu was born, according to one opinion, but it appears that we go according to that opinion, that was the Shnas HaIbur, that the year that Moshe Rabbeinu was actually born was in effect a Rishon V'Odeshen. It was the Shnas HaIbur, which means the suggestion of that opinion in the Gemara over there, that when Moshe Rabbeinu was born, he was born in order Rishon. He was born in the first order. If he was born in the first order, that means that we've got another whole month still following up before we move into Nisan. So the Rebbe says that means one, Chidush, Chodesh HaYareach, or Yisrael, Hu Kafur. What does the Rebbe mean? It's well known that you didn't count according to the moon. And the reason for that is our months are not like the Umasoilam, they go according to the sun. But we go according to what the Rebbe means by Yoreach and Israel, that Yidden are compared in many places in our sages to the moon. However, since Yidden and the moon are tremendously paralleled together, and therefore it comes out that whatever's happening with the moon, as it were, is happening with Yidden also. However, the moon is in such a way behind the sun that we've got to put in a whole month to make them catch up, which means that we double a certain month of the year in order to catch up with the sun. For certain reasons, which not the place here to go into, but it's not very necessary. That's happening in order. And what happened in order? Moshe was born, which means that he's elevated the schools of order. Yidden. That is in a Shnas HaIbur. That's happening by early Yidden Kafur. And it could double. There are two orders, which means it's going to be two situations where Yidden are in this tremendous elevated level. So he says that means that the Chiddush of the Yoreach is Kofel. Shishim Yemei Oda Mavatlim Kol Dover Shlili Ba'af Choifchi Moiseilu Tova. And here the Rebbe says an amazing that we have a cloud in your day that Dover built Yivatsui, Dover Shalisa is bottled with Shishim. If it's got Shishim connected, then it's bottled. And so there's a question in Poiskim, you're allowed to eat it if it's bottled with shishim. So you're allowed to eat it even if the Dover Isa is actually still in there. You can't see it, or we don't recognize it because it's bottled with shishim. But the Dover Isa is still in there. So the point is that you're eating a little piece of Isa. So the great Meforshim are choilek as to bittul b'shishim. Does that mean that we turn the Dover Isa into Heta? The fact that there are shishim, that alters its whole status? Or do we just say no, that if there's enough shishim keneged echad, then you won't taste it anyway? And since you won't taste it, it doesn't bother. Which is kila the Ike Matthias of this whole union of Bittul Vashishim. So the Rebbe brings down the opinion that it actually changes the Doha. That's why he says here, it's like we got 60 days of order, so anything unpleasant, anything undesirable is bottled by Shishim. It's just all becoming bottled in the 60 days. Miday Chodesh HaIbur Mishtavim Yemei Mahalchei Hashemesh V'Hayim. So the Rebbe says, don't ever suspect me that I'm forgetting any opportunity to mention the Gula Shlema. So the Rebbe says, if the Chodesh HaIbur joins up the sun and the moon, then that's already me'ain what's going to be when Mashiach comes. But when Mashiach comes, it's written V'hoyo, that the earth, the moon, and the sun are going to be equal when Mashiach comes. So if you put in a whole month in order to bring about that equality, you've taken a tremendous step, which is going towards a situation which is really a dogma of what it's going to be when Mashiach comes. Now, I see everybody's very balabatis. I mean, that's absolutely amazing. So therefore the Rebbe says, with an exclamation mark. ובשני ימי ראש חודש אדר בשנה זו שלישי ורביעי מרומזים גם כן שלושה המיילים. So the Rebbe never leaves an opportunity. This year Rosh Chodesh Adar Rishon was Gimel Dalet. So he said Gimel Dalet makes certain combinations. So let's see what they are. And he said they will bear out these three inyonim which we just described. He said V'yom Shlishi Ne'ema Pamayim Kitoi. Well, that's inyan from Kofel. You know what that's referring to? That on Yom HaShlishi, in the Torah, it's written by Yar Elokim Ki Toiv, it's written Pamayim b'Yom Shlishi. Yeah. On Yom Sheni it's not written, but b'Yom Shlishi it's written twice. So the Gemara says, but again, then it's also brought down in Kama Medrashim that the Yom Sheni has got a bit of a problem that there's a splitting. Hashem divided up the waters and he took away the high waters and left the low waters. So that's a little bit sort of, it's a Pashut. Therefore on the third day that Hashem said Ki Tov, Rashi says, over there in the Chumash, Rashi brings that Ki Tov is going back on Monday. It's like, how do you call it, being Mafayas, Monday, that she didn't have a Ki Tov, so it's like giving a comfort to Monday, which means that Tuesday must have some power to comfort Monday. In other words, it's got its own milah, and it also fixes up Yom Sheni. So that means that it's kofel, it's got a double power, of Kito, which can fix up even a previous day. So he said, Yom Shlishi Matakeinu Mashliim Es HaMalacha Shelo Yistayma B'Yom Sheni. In other words, at the Pshat, when Hashem divided the waters and everything, that was in the middle of a whole Pu'ula. Hashem wanted that should happen in order to complete the final and most ultimate aim that he had in the creation. So that extra thing that happened, or was meant to happen through the dividing of the waters, that actually is taken care of on Yom Shlishi. So therefore the inif in Yom Shlishi not only as it were as a bracha back towards Yom, but actually finishes off what Yom Sheni didn't finish. However, that's another milah that there is in Tuesday, in Yom Shlishi. He said, Yom Revi'i, he said there's a milah in Yom Revi'i, sheboi nitlu shnei ha'ma'eres ha'gedalim. It's one on that on Yom Revi'i and the Sheish Shemay Braces, Hashem put up the sun and the moon. They're called the Ma'eres ha'gedalim. So he said that is kosher liyud ha'giyula ha'omaliyah. That is connected with what we said, that the sun and the moon are going to be equal. K'may shohoiso, terem, we state terem miyuto. So we said in the posting on, we'll say at this Motzei Shabbos, hopefully, after we Mekadosh the Lavona, the Shemesh and the. So what does that mean? When they were first created, before the Miyut HaYoreach, they were equal. So Yom Revi'i is already a day which is indicating what's going to be when Moshiach will come. God, etzem achibur of the 2 days together, Gimel and Dalet, Shipirushay Mazol. It's one on that in Aramic, the word God means a mazol. Also, in the Sikha, the Rebbe points out that the word Gimel Dalet is back to front, Dag, and Dag is the muzzle of order. So he says that even Mazel kosher l'maylas chodesh order sheboy mazel hu chazaku bari, like we learned before. That's how all these things all balance out. So you wanted it, so you got it. So now we go just a little further. Where are we holding?
5 to 9.
Oh, sorry about that.
5 to 9.
Maybe you can take care of this money. Thanks very much.
Yeah.
So now the Rebbe goes on like this. we get down to another theme, which is going to lead up eventually to, during the Sikha, the Rebbe referred to in that year of Toshin and Beit, is when it happened with the young Jewish woman, that she died on Kiddush Hashem. Do you remember the whole thing that happened?
Yeah.
And so the Rebbe is going to begin talking about Ainim from Kiddush Hashem, and that leads him, perhaps to a whole, he made a whole amazing sikha about this young woman, about the Messiah's Nefesh. You know the story? Yeah. She was the wife of a Kohen, and the Schwarze molested her, and he wanted what you can understand. But if she would have agreed, then she would have been also to her husband. And if she would have had any further children, they would have been, not kosher to the Kohuna. So therefore she went on Messiah's Nefesh, and he killed her, Rahman al. And so the Rebbe speaks about the greatness of the Messiah's Nefesh and the children. She had young children, the whole thing.
He went to the funeral. The Rebbe went to the funeral.
Yeah, and the Rebbe talks about a tremendous, unbelievable, what the Rebbe actually says. And then the Rebbe says that there's enough Messiah's Nefesh. You didn't have had Messiah's Nefesh all the generations, no more. That's Kira, the end. So we're now beginning a theme which the Rebbe is going to lead to. So let's just deal with it briefly. He said, "Lahavonas ha'inyan heiter." In order to understand very clearly this whole inyan, yesh lahatim she'ishnam shnei sugei mazel. There are two different types of mazel. Yeah, the word mazel has two, as it were, implications. Aleph, hashpuas ha'koychovim v'amazoles ha'kayemes yerak eitzel umas ha'olam. This is what's called astrology. Yeah, in English it's called astrology. The effects which are had on human lives and human development by the heavenly bodies. However, that is be'ika only shot to the Umas Ha'olam. Ve'ilu ala Yehudim nema ein mazel Yisrael. That's a Gemara in Sof Masechta Shabbos, where the Gemara says over there that ein mazel Yisrael. And that doesn't mean to say that Yidden don't have any mazel whatsoever, but they're able to alter their mazel, and they can affect and even control their own mazel. And therefore there's a famous Chassidish Taich, but the Rebbe mentions in a footnote that ein mazel Yisrael, you can say that another way around, and you can say ayin mazel Yisrael. That the ayin Eloki, the inif and Elokus, that is Bilti Musak Lekam, it's called ayin, that is the mazel of the Jewish people. Yeah. So he said, a mazel shel Yehudi hu giloi sheresh nishmosei v'atzmos. There's a second pirush in the word mazel, which is brought in many Jewish exodus, and that is that the mazel means the sheresh of your neshama and its very essence, because most of the neshama doesn't come down into the world, and that's called mazel, from the word noisel, or noisel rather. What noisel means a liquid, or something which drops in drops. And so your etzem neshama l'mayla sends messages and drops down all the time into the neshama down here. So he said that's the inyan of mazal. He said, but neshama hamalubeshes beguf. Yeah, that's the connection and the revelation of that shayresh in the neshama, how it is in the body. Shekach ika ha-neshama nesheres l'mayla, as we know that. However, he said, "V'zuhi b'diuk ha-mayla shel Zion Hodo." Well, this is the mayla. Zion Hodo's Wall Street has gone unimaginably here in this whole sikha. Zion Hodo is the day. So he says that ha-mayla shel Zion Hodo Yom Leidus Moshe. B'yom zeh noilda v'yisayra etzem nishmas Moshe. The very etzem of Moshe Rabbeinu became the Surah on the day that he was born. So the Rebbe said, "V'zu gomer lahashpoas hamazel b'chol neshamas Yisrael." As we said before, all Eden are elevated to the same level of Moshe Rabbeinu because he's there. They're all part of him. So he says, "B'rega she'tisoira b'vnei Yisrael etzem nafshom nitan lahem gam hakoyach lamed b'mesiras nefesh mukletes." Oh, he said, once the etzem shoyros of their neshamas are given to them, then that gives the power of unconditional mesiras nefesh. And that's what happened in the Ness of Purim, that they stood with mesiras nefesh for no reason, only the fact that they and the Alter Rebbe brings down the famous statement of the Alter Rebbe in Torah, where the Alter Rebbe says that they stood kol yom meshach kol hashana b'mesiras nefesh, and they were ready at every moment to be nerag al kiddush Hashem. As they bring to the Alter Rebbe. So he said, "V'zu gomer lahashpoas hamazel b'kol neshamas Yisrael, b'rega she'yiseira b'vnei Yisrael etzem nafshon." Then they have the koyach of mesiras nefesh shelo yilosu chas v'sholem mi'arotzen ha'elaki gam yom hoyu tzrichim lamus al kach. Even if they knew they were going to have to die, but they wouldn't abandon the rotzen of Hashem. Zeh ma she'hevi b'sefer shel davar liyeshua ha'elakis nes purim. V'lochein yom ha'istalkus shel Moshe Rabbeinu hoya b'zayin order. Yeah, it had to happen also on Zion order. Shekein order moira al choizer v'atoikev. Like we say in a pasuk, Adir b'morim ha Hashem. What Adir indicates the infant taker, v'choizer. And that's a remez to chodesh order. Ve'ilu shiva ba'order u'ayayim boi choider gila elki takiv zed v'shiva shebei brias o'ilom. The Rebbe said that 7 days into order means you've got to go through a whole week. And a whole week is all the ordinary days of life plus Shabbos. Or Shabbos is like a elevation, but it's got a certain kesher. And so therefore he said, what is Zion order being again to Moshe Rabbeinu's party? That means that had occurred Shurish Neshama, the highest point of Moshe Rabbeinu's Neshama comes down into Zion into 7 days in this month of Order, which we've already said has been there for Klagami, and that's the end of Davki 7, or that links the Lamaila completely of all Hagbolah into the Hagbolah of the 7 days. Of Shivas Yemei Brias Ohilom Ve'ilu Shivas Ayomim Achreinim B'chodesh Order V'siyumam B'rosh Chodesh Nisan. They were the Indian of what? The Shivas Yemei Amiluim in the Mishkan. And he said therefore they got through Chibur Shalakus Bo'ilom. Also Yoda Hashchina La Mishkan. The Mishkan was no longer just a wonderful thing that had been presented, but it was able to enter its daily activity and change the world the whole time, Davki in the last 7 days of order. So we see that this Indian of order divides itself into periods of 7 days. Therefore, Stalkus Moshe Rabbeinu was at the beginning, Zion, and at the end of the month, it was the entrance of the Shekhinah into the Mishkan, and that makes possible for the Mishkan to affect the whole world. Dear Lord, Bara B'Tartoinim, with the whole Riches, and then, on the next page, the Rebbe gets on to the whole of this young woman that gave herself away, Mamash. And what he began saying now, the uniform Mesiras Nefesh, he develops on it at some length. And then he says the only answer is Mashiach, and Davki, the thing like that has happened. We have to request from Hashem that should be the last actual need for Mesiras Nefesh. Kipshute, from now on, it should only be Mesiras Nefesh and Limit Torah and the good Zaken. Take him miyad, we should all go out from the Golas. Miod Romo, B'Simcha, Yadela HaMatim LaChedesh Order.
I met her son a few weeks after it happened, and his strength gave me so much strength. The son of the lady that passed away, I met him a few weeks after the incident, after the funeral, and he gave me strength. I was standing next to him. I didn't know who he was. We started talking, and he told me who he was. And went like this, he said, he comforted me. You know, I started to and he said, and he was very at peace with it. The Rebbe had really given him some strength that he could share. He said, he had it. He was already. He was saying, listen, it's okay.